Castles and fortresses throughout the centuries have become centers of mystical stories and legends, and there are many reasons for this. Firstly, their antiquity serves as a powerful catalyst for the emergence of myths. Many castles were built in the Middle Ages, when Europe was filled with conflicts and political intrigue. For example, in the 11th century in Britain, numerous castles were erected for protection against enemies, and their massive walls hold many secrets. The external appearance of castles with high towers, sturdy walls, and narrow windows creates an atmosphere of grandeur and mystery, which is itself already attractive. The gloomy architecture with dark corridors and dungeons is ideal for the birth of stories about ghosts and secret passages. These places, filled with shadows, seem perfect for the appearance of mysterious creatures and strange phenomena. The architecture of castles, with their intricate plans and hidden rooms, creates a feeling that something unexpected could be hiding in every corner. Psychologically, castles are perceived as keepers of deep history, and it is precisely because of this that many legends about ghosts arise in them, which do not leave the living in peace. Historical tragedies that occurred within the walls of these fortresses serve as the basis for the creation of mystical tales. Executions, imprisonment, and wars which left their mark on the fates of people become the basis for scary stories about how souls do not find rest and continue to wander. These tragedies are often described in oral folk tales and literary works passed down from generation to generation. For example, in castles, stories are often told about the ghosts of unhappy lovers or those who were betrayed and imprisoned in dungeons. Each castle can boast its own unique legends connected to its history, which adds to its mystery. Moreover, in such places as castles, the atmosphere of gloom and mystery is enhanced by sounds, the creaking of floorboards, the echo of footsteps in empty halls, the rustling of wind in stone walls. These sounds create the feeling that the castle is alive and that something is constantly happening in it. Complex stories about ghosts and paranormal phenomena attract the attention of tourists and researchers who strive to unravel the secrets hidden behind the walls of these magnificent structures. For example, in some castles, special tours are conducted during which legends and myths associated with these places are told. Thus, castles are not only architectural monuments but also repositories of stories that attract people from all over the world. Interest in such places is fueled by films and books where castles often serve as the stage for thrilling and mystical events. This interest is further enhanced by the fact that many castles are open to visitors, and visitors have the opportunity not only to see them, but also to feel the atmosphere in which people once lived, experiencing both hardships and joys. In the end, castles and fortresses continue to be not only historical monuments, but also true sources of inspiration for creating mystical stories and legends that will never lose their relevance. According to historians, there are more than 3,000 castles in Europe, each of which holds its own unique secrets and legends. The Alcázar of Segovia is one of the most famous fortresses in Spain, built in the 13th century at the command of King Alfonso X the Wise. Construction began in 1268 when Alfonso X, who ruled from 1246 to 1284, sought to strengthen his position in the region. The fortress is located on a rocky hill formed by the confluence of the Eresma and Clam rivers, which gave it strategic importance. Initially, the Alcázar was used as a military stronghold, but over time it became the residence of the royal family and the site of important state affairs. The fortress has a distinctive silhouette, resembling a ship with raised sails, which makes it unique among other castles. The architectural style of the Alcázar combines elements of Gothic and Moorish styles, reflecting the cultural diversity of Spain at the time. Inside the fortress, one can find numerous historical halls such as the throne room and the nobleman's hall, which have served as venues for royal receptions and important meetings throughout the centuries. In 1900, the Alcázar was transferred to a military academy, where it was used until the end of the 20th century. As a result of numerous changes and restorations carried out in recent decades, The fortress is open to tourists and has become a popular attraction. The Alcázar is also known for its artillery museum, which houses more than 300 historical weapons and artillery pieces dating back to the 16th century. This makes it an important point of interest for historians and enthusiasts of military history. In 1900, the Alcázar was declared a National Historical Monument, highlighting its architectural and cultural significance. The internal courtyards of the Alcázar are adorned with exquisite mosaics and frescoes that illustrate historical events in Spain. For example, one of the walls depicts scenes related to the conquest of Granada in 1492. No less important is the role of the Alcázar in legends and myths connected with the history of Spain. It is said that the famous sword of the Reconquista was kept in its walls, adding romance and mystery to this place. Each year, the Alcázar attracts thousands of tourists who want not only to admire its architecture, but also to learn about its rich historical heritage. In recent years, various cultural events have been held here, including medieval music festivals and markets, making it a vibrant center of cultural life in the city. In 1989, the Interpretation Center was opened in the Alcázar, offering visitors interactive exhibitions dedicated to the history of the fortress and the region. This allows visitors to gain a deeper understanding of how life in Segovia has evolved over the centuries. The external walls of the fortress reach a height of more than 30 meters, and its powerful towers provided protection against potential attacks. Notably, the Alcázar has inspired many artists, writers, and filmmakers. For example, the fortress served as a model for the castle in the animated film Cinderella by Disney. Interestingly, throughout its existence, the Alcázar has endured numerous sieges and attacks, including the famous siege in 1492 when it was captured by the Catholic monarch's troops. In recent years, the fortress has been actively restored and preserved to pass on this unique heritage to future generations. The Alcázar of Segovia remains a living testament to the historical events that took place on its territory and continues to attract the attention of both scholars and history enthusiasts. Turku Castle, located in the very heart of Finland, is one of the oldest and most significant historical landmarks of the country. Its construction began in the late 13th century, around 1220, and it originally served as a fortress to protect against attacks from neighbors, particularly Sweden. The castle became an important part of the administrative system controlling southern Finland. Over the centuries, it underwent numerous reconstructions and expansions, reflecting changes in architectural styles and military technology. In the 16th century, the castle gained particular fame due to Catherine Montsdatter, the third wife of King Gustav I Vasa, who played a key role in Finland's history. Born in 1532, she married the king in 1558. Catherine was not only a royal wife but also an active participant in the political life of her time. The castle became the residence of the royal family, where important meetings and celebrations took place. Under her influence, ties between Sweden and Finland were strengthened, which was especially important in the face of growing Russian threats. Catherine also cared for the cultural development of the region, supporting art and education. She organized festivals and tournaments, attracting the attention of the nobility from across the country. Weddings and other significant events were held in the castle, contributing to its reputation as a center of cultural life. The castle's architecture, executed in the Renaissance style, impressed contemporaries with its grandeur. Walls up to 3 meters thick and massive towers testified to its defensive functions. The interior was furnished with luxury, highlighting the status of the royal family. After Catherine's death in 1581, the castle continued to be an important strategic object, but its role gradually changed. In the 17th century, it was used as an administrative center and prison. For example, in 1618, several political prisoners were held there, underscoring its importance in political struggles. In the 18th century, the castle became a place for conducting trials and its walls witnessed many judicial proceedings. Today, Turku Castle is a museum where visitors can see exhibits related to its long history, including everyday items, weapons, and armor. Thousands of tourists visit the castle each year to learn more about its rich past. Inside the castle, there are reconstructed rooms where visitors can see how its inhabitants lived. Tours of the castle allow visitors to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of the Middle Ages and learn about Catherine Montsdatter and her contribution to Finnish history. The castle is also known for its legends and myths that surround its walls. For instance, it is believed that the ghost of Catherine wanders the corridors in search of peace. These stories attract the attention of both locals and tourists, adding a touch of mystery to this historical site. The castle continues to be a significant symbol of Finnish history and culture, reflecting the complex relationships between Finland and Sweden over the centuries. In the 20th century, the castle was restored, and its current condition allows for various cultural events, including exhibitions and concerts. For many years, Turku Castle has served not only as a historical monument, but also as an active cultural centre that unites people of different generations and nationalities. The castle embodies Finland's rich heritage and serves as a reminder of the time when its walls were filled with life, royal intrigue, and historical events. Currently, Turku Castle is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, highlighting its significance not only for Finland, but for the entire world. Warwick Castle, located in Warwickshire, England, is one of the most significant historical fortresses in the country. Built in the 11th century, it became a symbol of power and status, serving as a residence for many monarchs and aristocrats. In the 12th century, the castle was significantly strengthened when its owner, Henry de Leicester, added massive stone walls and defensive structures. In the 13th century, the castle became the property of the Earls of Warwick, and its architecture continued to develop. For example, in 1355, the Earl of Warwick built a magnificent hall that became the venue for lavish banquets and gatherings. In the 14th century, the castle was besieged during the Wars of the Roses, when it was captured by supporters of the Lancastrians. In the 18th century, the castle underwent further changes when its owners decided to transform it into a comfortable country residence rather than a military fortress. One of the most famous residents of the castle was Countess Fulford, known as the Lady in Grey, whose story is shrouded in legends and myths. She was the wife of the Earl of Warwick in the 17th century and was renowned for her beauty and wisdom. According to legend, she often appeared in a grey dress, and her ghost is said to still wander the castle, attracting many tourists and enthusiasts of the supernatural. The castle is also famous for its beautiful gardens, which were created in the 18th century when landscape designer Lancelot Capability Brown transformed the surroundings into a picturesque park with ponds and avenues. In the 19th century, the castle became the subject of restoration when its owners decided to restore its historical authenticity. In this process, the renowned architect Sir George Gilbert Scott was involved, who restored many elements of Gothic architecture characteristic of early medieval times. Warwick Castle also became the venue for various events, including theatrical performances, jousting tournaments, and historical reenactments, which attract thousands of visitors each year. In the 20th century, the castle opened its doors to the public and became a popular tourist attraction. In 2001, the castle was declared a historic monument and listed as a monument of architecture. It is visited by around 100,000 people each year, reflecting its popularity and significance in the cultural heritage of England. Inside the castle, there are various exhibitions, including an armoury, where medieval armour and weapons used in battles are displayed. Guests are offered tours of the castle, during which they can learn about its history, architecture, and famous residents. Warwick Castle serves not only as a historical monument, but also as a research object for scholars who study its architectural features and historical significance. For example, in 2003, a group of archaeologists led by Dr. Elizabeth Knight conducted excavations on the castle grounds, uncovering artifacts from the early medieval period. These findings confirmed that the castle was a significant strategic point for several centuries. Notably, in the 18th century, the castle hosted the first girls' school in the country, which was a significant step in the history of education in England. Today, Warwick Castle continues to be an important part of British cultural life, attracting the attention of historians and tourists eager to touch its centuries-old history and learn about life in the Middle Ages. Chillon Castle is situated on the shores of Lake Geneva in Switzerland and is one of the most renowned historical landmarks of the country, attracting more than 300,000 tourists annually. Built in the 11th century, the castle served as a strategic stronghold for controlling trade routes between Italy and the northern regions of Europe. The architecture of Chillon Castle combines elements of Romanesque and Gothic styles, making it a unique example of medieval architecture. The castle consists of more than 100 rooms, including living quarters, assembly halls, and chapels, and its walls hold numerous stories. One of the most famous episodes associated with this place is described in the poem The Prisoner of Chillon by French poet Georges Gustave Lamartine. The poem tells the story of François Bonivard, who was imprisoned in the castle in the 14th century. Bonivard, a Swiss patriot, resisted the power of the Duke of Savoy. His imprisonment lasted more than 6 years, during which he endured dark and terrible conditions in the castle's dungeons. According to reports, the walls of the stone cells were covered with graffiti left by other prisoners, indicating the suffering they endured. Chillon Castle, due to its strategic importance, was subjected to sieges on numerous occasions, especially during the war between Switzerland and Savoy in the 16th century. In the 18th century, the castle became a popular destination for romantics and writers, inspiring authors such as Lord Byron, who also visited the castle and was struck by its beauty and gloom. As a result, the castle became a symbol of the struggle for freedom and justice. In the 20th century, Chillon Castle was meticulously restored and is now under the protection of the Swiss Federal Office for the preservation of historic sites. The castle also serves as a venue for various cultural events, including concerts and exhibitions. Inside, many antique furniture pieces and interior items have been preserved, providing insight into life in the castle during the Middle Ages. For example, in one of the halls, numerous tapestries depicting hunting scenes and knightly tournaments can be seen, demonstrating the wealth and taste of its inhabitants. The castle is also famous for its rich collection of historical artifacts, including weapons and armor used in battles. In the 18th century, the castle's dungeons became the site of interrogations and tortures, adding another layer of dark history to this historic site. Chillon Castle is not just an architectural monument, but also a place where human fates intersect, influencing the course of history. Its walls have witnessed numerous events, from noble feasts to dark hours of imprisonment and suffering. The castle's appearance, its location on the backdrop of the Alps and Lake Geneva, as well as its rich history, make it one of the most photographed places in Switzerland. Far beyond the country, Chillon has become a symbol of Swiss culture and the spirit of freedom. The castle actively participates in educational programs for schoolchildren, where they study Swiss history and its cultural heritage. In the 21st century, Chillon Castle continues to attract the attention of researchers and tourists alike, remaining an important object for the study of medieval European history. It is interesting to note that in the 21st century, a series of scientific studies were conducted here, aimed at investigating the technology of building and preserving old castles, opening new horizons for historians and architects. The scientific work carried out in the castle reveals how local materials and technologies were used to create such robust structures. For example, the stones used for the castle's construction were quarried from local quarries, illustrating the connection between natural resources and architectural achievements. The Citadel of Buda in Budapest, built in the mid-16th century, is a significant historical landmark that embodies the influence of the Ottoman Empire on Hungary. On August 18, 1543, after nearly 3 decades of siege, Buda was captured by the forces of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. This fortress became a strategic point controlling key trade routes and providing protection against enemies. Within the citadel was the residence of Pasha Abdul, who governed the city on behalf of the Sultan. Pasha Abdul, renowned for his cruelty and political cunning, was celebrated not only for his military prowess, but also for his numerous intrigues and amorous affairs. His harem, a source of envy and admiration, consisted of more than 20 women, each playing a role in strengthening Pasha Abdul's political power. Ensuring the safety and comfort of his harem, Abdul built luxurious apartments adorned with exquisite carpets and precious fabrics. The women in the harem served not only to satisfy Pasha Abdul's desires, but also had their own interests and ambitions. For instance, one of his concubines, Hadija, was a renowned beauty who exerted significant influence on Pasha Abdul's politics, and her ability to manipulate other concubines created complex intrigues within the harem. The citadel, surrounded by high walls and deep moats, also served as a training ground for Ottoman soldiers, the Janissaries, who were the elite forces of the Sultan. These warriors underwent rigorous training and were known for their loyalty to the Sultan and readiness to fight to the last drop of blood. Inside the fortress were stores of weapons and provisions, ensuring constant readiness for defense. In 1630, under Pasha Abdul's command, the fortress successfully defended several offensive operations against Austrian forces attempting to regain control of Buda. However, despite these successes, the Ottoman influence in Hungary began to wane. In 1663, after years of war, Buda was finally liberated from Ottoman rule, and the citadel lost its strategic significance. Today, the citadel is a tourist attraction, drawing many visitors due to its historical and architectural features. From here, one can enjoy breathtaking views of the Danube and the city, making it a popular spot among photographers and history enthusiasts. Interestingly, the fortress now houses a museum dedicated to the history of Budapest and its occupation by the Ottoman Empire. The museum displays artifacts related to Pasha Abdul and his harem, including old maps and documents that tell the story of how the Ottoman Empire governed Hungary. Thus, the citadel not only served as a fortress for Pasha Abdul and his harem, but also became a symbol of the complex historical fate of the region, reflecting the contradictory aspects of Ottoman rule. Spiš Castle, located in Slovakia, is one of the most impressive and well-preserved medieval castles in Europe. Its construction began in the 11th century, and it played a key role in defending the region from external threats. The castle's architectural style combines elements of Romanesque and Gothic styles, making it unique. In the 13th century, the castle became the residence of the Zapolsky family, and it was during this time that the tragic figure of Princess Barbara Zapolska appeared in the castle's history. Barbara was born in 1436 and was the daughter of Hungarian King Laszlo IV. In the 14th century, she married Polish King Władysław II Jagiełło. However, her life was not without its challenges. Barbara suffered from political intrigues and persecution. After her husband's death in 1499, she returned to Spiš Castle, where she was met with malicious rumors and gossip about her character and reputation. The castle became not only her home, but also her prison, as she found herself at the center of power struggles between various factions. At this time, Spiš Castle was a significant strategic object, and its walls witnessed numerous battles and sieges. In the 15th century, the castle was a witness to a rebellion against the Habsburg government, in which Barbara tried to protect her interests. However, all her efforts were in vain. She was forced to flee the castle, leaving behind shattered dreams and hopes. Barbara's death in 1468 became a symbol of the unhappy fate of many women of that time who were trapped in political intrigues. The castle was in a state of decline at this time, but its walls still held memories of its former glory. Restoration of the castle began in the 19th century when it attracted the attention of historians and architects who sought to restore its former splendor. In 1966, Spiš Castle was declared a national monument of Slovakia, and since then it has become a popular tourist attraction. Today, the castle attracts thousands of visitors with its magnificent towers and views of the surrounding landscapes. It also hosts various cultural events and exhibitions, helping to preserve its historical value. The Slovak National Museum conducts regular research and restoration work to preserve the architectural heritage of the castle for future generations. Each year, the castle hosts festivals and reconstructions of medieval events, allowing visitors to see how people lived in the past. For example, in 2020, a festival of medieval culture was held, where participants recreated customs and traditions of that time. Spiš Castle is not only an outstanding architectural monument, but also an important symbol of Slovak history, reflecting the complex fates of those who lived there. The restored interiors of the castle demonstrate the lifestyle and culture of medieval aristocracy and preserve valuable artifacts found during excavations. The castle also attracts researchers due to its historical documents, which help to better understand the lives and social structures of that time. Spiš Castle, as a historical fortress, has witnessed many events, including sieges and battles that determined the fates of entire nations. Its size is impressive. The castle covers an area of about 7 hectares, and its walls reach a height of more than 30 meters. The building materials used in its construction include local limestone, which gave the castle strength and durability. The castle was also an important trade center, as it was located at the intersection of trade routes connecting Eastern and Western Europe. In the 14th century, markets were held here where goods from the entire region were sold. The castle continues to be a subject of study for archaeologists who find here artifacts dating back to different periods, starting from the Bronze Age. Each discovered item, whether it is pottery or tools, adds new details to the history of this magnificent structure. Spiš Castle not only preserves the memory of Barbara Zapolska, but also of many others whose fates are intertwined with its walls, remaining an important part of Slovak history. Stirling Castle, located in Scotland, is one of the most significant historical structures in the country, built at the end of the 12th century and serving as the residence of Scottish kings. This castle not only boasts a rich history, but is also renowned for its ghosts, among which the ghost of a soldier in pink and a lady in green stand out. The ghost of the soldier in pink was first spotted in the 19th century when local residents reported strange sightings in the castle. According to legend, he was a soldier who died in the Battle of Stirling in 1449 when the Scots fought against the English. His attire, as reported by witnesses, was a vivid pink colour, which was quite unusual for military uniforms of that time. Some researchers believe that this colour could have been a symbol of his affiliation with a particular regiment or clan. The ghost of the soldier became particularly famous after a group of tourists visiting the castle in 1905 reported seeing his figure wandering through the ancient corridors and hearing the sound of footsteps and rustling. The Lady in Green, another famous ghost of the castle, also has her tragic story. She is said to have been the mistress of one of the Scottish lords who was killed as a result of treachery. Her ghost, dressed in a green gown, has been seen in the castle's chambers, where she is said to be waiting for her beloved. Reports of encounters with her began in the 18th century. In 1906, a reporter for the Stirling Times newspaper published an article about strange events in the castle, where several witnesses claimed to have seen the Lady in Green standing by the window, as if observing the world around her. Research into the ghosts of Stirling Castle continues to this day. In 2003, a group of paranormal researchers led by Dr. Andrew MacLeod conducted nighttime investigations in the castle and recorded strange electromagnetic fields and cold spots, which they believe could indicate the presence of ghosts. Photographs taken during these investigations show blurred figures that some members of the group interpret as spirits. It is not surprising that Stirling Castle played a key role in Scottish history, as it was here in 1444 that the famous Battle of Stirling took place, where William Wallace defeated the English forces. Therefore, it is not surprising that the castle holds many secrets and legends. There are numerous sources confirming the stories of ghosts, including records of local chroniclers and historians such as Sir Walter Scott, who mentioned ghosts in his works. The castle has become a popular destination for tourists and paranormal researchers, offering a unique opportunity to connect with history and the mysteries of the past. In 2020, Stirling Castle was recognised as one of the most visited historical sites in Scotland, attracting more than 100,000 tourists annually. These facts highlight not only its historical significance but also its cultural heritage, which continues to live on in stories about ghosts and mystical phenomena associated with this magnificent castle. Český Krumlov Castle, located in the Czech Republic, is an outstanding example of medieval architecture that was built in the 15th century. It became the residence of the Rosenberg family, a prominent Czech family that had a significant impact on the politics and culture of the country. The castle is situated on a picturesque hill overlooking the Vltava River and is renowned for its unique architectural features, including Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque elements. Notably, the castle boasts one of the tallest towers in the Czech Republic, reaching a height of 31 meters. In the 16th century, the castle was significantly expanded and rebuilt under the ownership of Vítkovec of Rosenberg, who added a magnificent palace surrounded by beautiful gardens. During this period, the castle became a cultural hub, attracting famous artists and scholars such as the Czech poet and playwright Jaroslav Hašek. One of the most famous legends associated with the castle is the story of Perchta of Rosenberg, also known as Bílá Panna. She was the wife of one of the Rosenbergs and, according to the legend, after her death became a ghost wandering the castle in search of peace. Local residents claim to have seen her ghost in white attire, especially on the night before St. John's Eve. Český Krumlov Castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2002, underscoring its historical and cultural significance. Today, the castle attracts thousands of tourists who can stroll through its charming streets, visit exhibitions dedicated to the history of the Rosenbergs, and enjoy the breathtaking views of the surrounding area. Inside the castle, there are luxurious halls, including the Renaissance Hall, adorned with frescoes and antique furniture. Additionally, the castle features unique 18th-century theatrical decorations and mechanisms used for performances in the local theatre. The castle is also famous for its extensive park where rare tree and shrub species grow, making it an ideal place for walks. An important part of the castle is its defensive system, which includes powerful walls and towers built for protection against enemies. The 18th century marked a period when the castle began to lose its strategic importance, but its cultural role continued to grow. During this time, the castle hosted balls and other cultural events, contributing to its popularity among the upper classes. Český Krumlov Castle has also served as a filming location for several well-known films, including The Talented Mr. Ripley. Restoration of the castle began in the 19th century, when extensive work was undertaken to restore its historical appearance. As a result of these efforts, the castle acquired its modern look, which combines elements of different architectural styles. Today, the castle is a significant cultural centre where exhibitions, concerts, and theatrical performances are held. Local authorities are actively working to preserve this historical monument, including regular restoration work and the organisation of educational programs for visitors. Český Krumlov Castle has become a symbol of Czech history and culture, reflecting the rich heritage of the country that is preserved and passed down from generation to generation. Fort Bhangar, located in the Indian state of Rajasthan, is often referred to as one of the most cursed places in the world. Built in the 16th century, specifically in 1517, by a local Rajput ruler, Raja Man Singh III, the fort was named after Princess Ratnavati, renowned for her beauty and nobility. Legend has it that a black magician named Singhiya Dev fell in love with her and, to win her heart, used magic. He cast a spell to make her fall in love with him, but Ratnavati, being very intelligent, saw through his intentions and tricked him using a spell he himself had created. As a result, the magician perished, but before his death he cursed the fort and its inhabitants, predicting their doom. This curse became the basis for many local tales of ghosts and mysterious disappearances. After this, the fort was abandoned and its grand architecture began to crumble. Walls and towers, once filled with life, are now covered in moss and dust. Archaeological research shows that the fort was built using traditional construction methods of the time, including stone blocks and archways. Researchers like Dr. Rajesh Das note that the fort was designed according to Vedic architectural principles, making it not only historically significant but also architecturally unique. Inside the fort there are numerous temples, including the Gopinath Temple, dating back to the 7th century, which attracts pilgrims and tourists. Local residents claim that at night, strange sounds like whispers and screams can be heard from the fort, and some even report seeing ghosts. The second half of the 20th century drew the attention of researchers and tourists to this place. In 2003, the fort was declared an archaeological monument, and it began to be studied by scientists from various countries. Despite its popularity, authorities prohibit night visits, citing its danger. In 2013, several incidents were registered where tourists went missing near the fort, adding to its mystique. Some experts, such as Dr. Anil Singh from Delhi University, study the impact of such legends on local culture and economy, highlighting that such stories attract tourists and contribute to the development of local infrastructure. The folklore of the region preserves many versions of the story of Princess Ratnavati and the Black Magician, each reflecting the fears and hopes of the local population. For example, in one version, the princess not only tricked the magician but also chose to remain with him in the afterlife, adding a tragic touch to her character. Fort Bhangar has become not only a tourist attraction but also a subject of discussion among historians and anthropologists who try to unravel its mysteries and understand how myths influence the perception of historical events. In 2009, researchers from different countries came to the fort to conduct night observations and experiments, and many of them reported strange experiences. In this context, Fort Bhangar is a unique blend of history, mythology, and archaeology that continues to attract the attention of scientists and tourists. The height of its walls reaches 12 meters, and its area is approximately 14 hectares, making it one of the largest forts in the region. Inside its walls there are more than 30 temples and numerous residential buildings, confirming the significance of this place in the past. The preserved frescoes and stone carvings found in this fort are important documents that testify to the culture and art of that time. Windsor Castle, located in the county of Berkshire, is one of the most significant royal residences in the United Kingdom and the oldest continuously inhabited fortress in the world. Its history dates back over 900 years, beginning in the 11th century when William the Conqueror ordered the construction of the first wooden fortress on this site after the conquest of England in 1066. Over time, the castle was rebuilt in stone, and in the 13th century, under the reign of King Henry III, a major reconstruction began, which made Windsor a model of Gothic architecture. The castle served not only as a residence but also as a strategic fortress protecting London from potential attacks. The reign of Queen Elizabeth I, who sat on the throne from 1550 to 1580, was particularly significant for Windsor. She frequently used the castle as a place of rest and for conducting state affairs, which underscored its importance in royal life. During this time, the castle witnessed many historic events, including the decision to wage war against Spain and preparations for the confrontation with the Spanish army. Windsor also served as a backdrop for important cultural events. In 1566, Queen Elizabeth received the Spanish ambassador here, and she also hosted grand celebrations and tournaments reflecting the prosperity and power of her reign. Architectural changes continued in the castle, and in the 16th century, Renaissance elements were added, further enriching its appearance. Windsor became a symbol of English monarchy, and its extensive grounds included a garden designed in the style of Italian gardens. The castle not only reflected royal power, but also became an integral part of English culture and identity. Inside the castle, there are famous halls, such as the St. George's Hall, built in 1489, and the site of coronations and burials of many monarchs. The castle was the venue for many important agreements, including peace treaties and dynastic marriages, underscoring its status as a political centre. Windsor also hosted royal weddings, including the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in 2018. The castle was actively used during World War II, when many members of the royal family stayed here, providing safety and support during the conflict. Windsor, like the royal family itself, has faced numerous trials, including scandals and dramas, but its architecture and history remain unchanged. Today, it attracts millions of tourists from around the world, who come to see not only the castle itself, but also its extensive collection of artworks, including paintings, statues, and furniture collected over centuries. Windsor Castle is not only a residence, but also a living testament to English history, where every stone tells a story. The name of Queen Elizabeth I is closely linked to this place, and her influence can be felt in every detail, from the architecture to the traditions that have been preserved here. Each year, various events take place in the castle, including the changing of the guard, which attracts the attention of both local residents and tourists. Windsor remains an important symbol of the monarchy, and its history continues to evolve, reflecting changes in society and culture in Britain. The height of the castle tower reaches around 47 metres, and its walls are over 2 metres thick in some places, making it a true fortress. Windsor holds many secrets and stories, and each new reconstruction adds a new chapter to its rich biography. Castell Carfi is located in Wales and is one of the most striking historical landmarks of the country. Built in the 13th century, it served as a defensive structure to protect against invasions, as well as a residence for local nobility. The castle was constructed at the command of King Henry III in the year 1234. Its architecture reflects the characteristic features of medieval castles, with thick walls and tall towers. The castle has witnessed numerous historical events, including wars between the English and the Welsh. The legend of the ghostly princess, who is said to have died of unrequited love, adds a unique atmosphere to this place. According to legend, this princess was the daughter of a Welsh king and fell in love with a young knight who was killed in battle. As a result of her tragic fate, she is said to wander the castle forever in search of her beloved. Local residents claim that on certain nights her wails can be heard echoing through the area, especially on moonlit evenings. Castell Carfi is also known for its well-preserved defensive structures, including massive gates and moats that once protected against attacks. The walls reach almost 25 metres in height, making it one of the tallest castles in Wales. Archaeologists have found numerous artifacts in the vicinity of the castle, which confirm its strategic importance in the Middle Ages, including weapons, pottery, and even remnants of medieval kitchens. In 1992, the castle was transferred to the management of the National Trust for Historic Monuments, which allowed for more active restoration and preservation efforts. Each year, the castle attracts thousands of tourists who wish not only to admire its architectural beauty, but also to learn about its dark history. Guided tours of the castle tell the legends of ghosts and the history of the castle itself. 80% of visitors report feeling a special atmosphere when they are in the old halls and narrow staircases. Some even claim to have seen the shadow of a woman in a white dress wandering the corridors. This has made the castle a popular subject for paranormal investigations, with several teams of ghost hunters visiting the site. Each summer, the castle hosts themed events that include reconstructions of medieval battles, allowing visitors to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of those distant times. Castle Carfi is not only a historical monument, but also a living place where legends and reality intertwine. In the 21st century, it has become a cultural heritage site, attracting the attention of not only historians, but also lovers of the mysterious. The height of the central tower of the castle reaches 37 metres, making it the tallest in Wales. The castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2006, confirming its significance on an international level. Currently, Carfi is not only a symbol of Welsh history, but also a place where one can feel the spirit of the Middle Ages. The ghost of the princess, who has become an integral part of local folklore, continues to attract the attention of researchers and lovers of the mysterious who strive to unravel the mysteries associated with this ancient castle. The Pelles Castle is located in the Carpathian Mountains near the city of Sinaia and was built in the 19th century as a summer residence for the Romanian royal family. Construction of the castle began in 1870 at the initiative of King Carol I, who aimed to create a modern and comfortable place for relaxation. The architectural style of the castle combines elements of Renaissance, Neo-Renaissance, and Neo-Gothic, making it unique in Romanian architecture. Local and imported materials were actively used in the castle's decoration, including Italian marble and Swiss wood. The Pelles Castle became not only a royal residence but also a cultural centre where meetings with prominent figures in art and science took place. Queen Maria of Romania, known for her artistic and cultural interests, played a significant role in the castle's life. She actively participated in the decoration of the castle's interiors, adding elements of art and luxury. In the early 20th century, in 1905, Queen Maria initiated the creation of a unique garden, which became one of the castle's main attractions and a venue for cultural events. The castle was designed to combine comfort and aesthetics which attracted many guests, including foreign monarchs. The castle's interior includes over 100 rooms, among which the library, decorated in the Art Deco style, and the music hall, where the royal family held concerts, stand out. The castle was also equipped with modern technologies for its time, such as central heating and electricity, making it one of the most modern castles in Europe. In 1930, the castle was opened to the public, allowing thousands of tourists to enjoy its beauty and history. Queen Maria left a significant legacy, not only in the castle's architecture but also in Romanian culture, becoming a symbol of elegance and refinement. After the monarchy was overthrown in 1947, the castle was abandoned and handed over to state management, leading to partial loss. In the 1990s, restoration work began, which helped restore its former glory. Currently, the Pelles Castle is one of the most visited landmarks in Romania and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The castle's interior has preserved many original works of art, including paintings, antique furniture, and ceramics, attracting not only tourists but also researchers. The castle is surrounded by a picturesque park with more than 700 plant species, making it an ideal place for walks and relaxation. Along the park's alleys there are statues and fountains, adding a romantic atmosphere to the place. The Pelles Castle is a vivid example of Romanian cultural heritage, and Queen Maria, through her efforts, linked the castle's history with the country's cultural development. In its architecture, the castle reflects European traditions and Romanian identity, making it an important object for studying the history of Romania. The castle continues to attract the attention of not only tourists but also historians who study its influence on the culture and architecture of the region. Edinburgh Castle is one of the most famous historical fortresses in Scotland, located atop a hill that dominates the country's capital. Built in the 12th century, the castle became a symbol of Scottish independence and power. Within its walls, significant events took place, such as the coronation of Scottish monarchs and defence against the English. One of the most intriguing figures associated with this castle is Lady Janet Douglas, a renowned Scottish noblewoman and heroine of her time. Janet was born in the 1480s and was the daughter of Sir John Douglas, a supporter of King James IV. In 1494, after the death of her husband, Janet found herself at the centre of political intrigue when her family became a target of royal wrath. In 1495, after her brother Sir William Douglas was accused of treason against the crown, Janet was arrested and imprisoned in Edinburgh Castle. She endured harsh interrogations and torture, but did not betray her allies. Janet was known for her resilience and determination, making her a symbol of resistance. In 1496, despite the lack of evidence against her, Janet was convicted of treason and burned at the stake in Edinburgh Castle, causing widespread outrage. Her execution became a symbol of cruelty and political repression of the time, as well as an example of how a woman could become a victim of political intrigue. Interestingly, after her death, her family continued to fight for the restoration of their honour and rights, which underscores the high value placed on her courage and loyalty. The castle, where she met her fate, has become a place where tourists come to learn more about her tragic story. Each year, Edinburgh Castle attracts millions of tourists, and among them are those interested in the fate of Janet Douglas. The castle has become not only a historical monument, but also a place where the memory of Janet Douglas continues to live. In Edinburgh Castle, artifacts related to her life are preserved, including documents and objects that help recreate the atmosphere of that era. Many historians and researchers note that her execution was a significant moment in Scottish history, as it symbolised the struggle for rights and freedoms. Edinburgh Castle, being a strategically important object, played a key role in various conflicts, such as the Battle of Bonhill in 1499, where Scottish forces fought for independence from the English crown. The castle withstood numerous sieges and attacks, including the famous siege in 1630, when it was captured by the Royalists. Inside the castle, there are historical sites such as the Chapel of St. Mary and the royal apartments, which immerse visitors in the atmosphere of medieval Scotland. Janet Douglas and her tragic fate serve as a reminder of how complex and dramatic the history of Scotland was at that time. The castle, despite its history, has become a symbol of Scottish resilience and strength. This entire story does not leave historians or tourists indifferent who strive to learn more about the life and fate of this remarkable woman. Edinburgh Castle continues to be an important object of research for archaeologists and historians who seek to uncover all the secrets related to its past and the lives of those who lived and died on its walls. Glamis Castle, located in Scotland, is not merely an architectural structure, but a whole kaleidoscope of stories, myths, and legends. Built in the 15th century, it originally served as the residence of the Stuart family, particularly the Earls of Strathmore and Strathdon. The castle gained fame for its unique architecture and numerous historical events, but perhaps its most intriguing feature is the legend of the Grey Lady, a ghost said to roam its corridors. One of the most famous legends tells of Lady Glamis, born in 1489, who was accused of witchcraft and executed. It is said that her name was Jane Stuart, daughter of the Earl of Caithness, and that she was betrayed by her husband. After her execution, her spirit remained in the castle, unable to leave its walls. The Grey Lady is described as a woman in a grey dress, with long dark hair and a sorrowful expression. It is believed that her appearance portends misfortune for the family that owns the castle. Over the centuries, many people, including servants and visitors, have reported encounters with her. Some claim to have seen her in the castle windows, while others have heard her soft weeping behind the walls. In 1930, writer and researcher Edward Levin published a book detailing his encounters with the Grey Lady and the accounts of others who claimed her spirit still guards the castle. Glamis Castle has also been the site of numerous historical events, including parliamentary sessions and meetings of the royal family. In 1956, the castle hosted the wedding of Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II, further adding to its fame. It has become a popular tourist destination, attracting history and mystery enthusiasts from around the world. Its interior halls are filled with antique furniture and works of art that help understand how its inhabitants lived through different eras. The castle also features impressive tapestries that reflect the rich history of Scotland and its cultural heritage. The castle's exterior, surrounded by picturesque landscapes, enhances its mysterious aura. Glamis is situated on picturesque hills, which give it a unique atmosphere of seclusion and magic. The castle's architecture is a blend of styles from Gothic to Renaissance, making it unique. Some historians note that the castle has been a witness to many dramatic events, including conspiracies and betrayals, which only strengthen its reputation as a place steeped in mysteries. In the 20th century, Glamis became a venue for various cultural events, including exhibitions and concerts, which highlighted its historical significance. The castle and its surroundings were included in the UNESCO World Heritage List, recognizing its international cultural heritage. The Grey Lady remains an integral part of this history, and her legend continues to inspire writers and artists. In recent decades, the castle has hosted special tours focused on ghosts and legends, allowing visitors to delve deeper into its mystical atmosphere. Research shows that about 30% of visitors report feeling an unusual energy in the castle's rooms. Glamis Castle is not only an architectural marvel, but also a living testament to the history, culture, and legends of Scotland, continuing to attract attention and interest. Dunluce Castle, situated in the southwest of Ireland, is not only an architectural landmark, but also a place steeped in myths and legends. Built in the 13th century, this castle served as the residence of the O'Brien clan, one of the most influential clans in Irish history. It has witnessed numerous historical events, including sieges and battles, which lend it a unique atmosphere. The castle stands on a cliff overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, and its walls hold many secrets. The legend of Banquo Moor, the wailing spirit of the cliff, is closely tied to this place. According to the tales, Banquo was a beautiful woman who lived in the castle in the 16th century. She fell in love with a young warrior, but his life was cut short in battle. Grief and sorrow drove her to madness, and eventually she threw herself off the cliff. Since then, her spirit is said to wander around the castle, mourning her loss. Local residents claim that at night her wail can be heard, merging with the sound of the waves. This attracts not only tourists but also paranormal investigators. Over the years, many witnesses have reported seeing the ghost of Banquo, adding intrigue to the castle's history. The castle has been rebuilt several times but has maintained its original appearance. In the 18th century, it was rebuilt in the Gothic Revival style, making it even more attractive to visitors. Interestingly, in the 20th century, the castle became a popular filming location, with scenes from the movie In Search of the Lost Ark shot here. This adds a modern touch and underscores the castle's historical significance. Inside the castle, there are ancient artifacts that tell the story of the O'Brien clan. For example, one can see traditional weapons and armor used in battles. It is also worth noting that the castle has a unique defense system, including deep moats and thick walls which helped it withstand numerous sieges. Archaeologists conducting research on the castle grounds found remnants of ancient buildings, indicating that the site was inhabited long before its construction. Artifacts dating back to around the 14th century include pottery and tools used by local residents. These artifacts help to better understand the lifestyle and culture of the people who inhabited these lands. Dunluce Castle also attracts attention for its natural beauty. The cliffs and beaches surrounding it are part of a nature reserve where rare bird species can be found. Local residents organize tours to show tourists not only the castle, but also its surroundings, including picturesque trails along the coast. Today, the castle is a popular tourist attraction, welcoming thousands of visitors each year. It has become a symbol of Irish history and culture, demonstrating how the past intertwines with the present. Dunluce Castle continues to hold its secrets, and its ghost, Banquo Moor, remains an integral part of its mysterious history. On March 18, 2023, a festival dedicated to Irish legends was held in the castle, attracting participants from all over the country. The Alcázar of Toledo in Spain is a remarkable historical monument that has witnessed numerous events throughout the centuries. Originally built during the Roman period, the castle was significantly rebuilt in the Middle Ages when it became the residence of Spanish kings. In the 16th century, it became a symbol of power and military might. Emperor Charles V, who ruled from 1520 to 1530, used the Alcázar as his residence. He was one of the most powerful rulers of his time, and his influence was felt not only in Spain, but throughout Europe. During this period, the Alcázar became a place where major political and military decisions were made. In 1530, the Alcázar underwent significant changes when it began to be used as a military fortress. The castle became a key point in the defense of Toledo, especially during the siege of the Spanish Civil War in the 1930s. At that time, the Alcázar became a symbol of the resistance of nationalists, and its heroic defense was elevated to the status of legend. There are many stories about a ghostly army said to guard the castle. According to local legends, the spirits of defenders who died in battle continue to roam the walls and corridors of the Alcázar, protecting it from unwanted visitors. Over the centuries, witnesses have reported strange sounds and visions that appeared in the dark corners of the castle. These stories attract tourists and historians who want to learn more about the mystical side of this place. The Alcázar not only draws attention with its architecture, but also serves as an important object for the study of Spanish military history. In the castle, one can see many artifacts from different periods, including Roman coins, medieval armor, and weapons. In the 1980s, the castle was fully restored and turned into a museum where exhibitions are held dedicated to its history and significance in Spanish culture. In this museum, documents and paintings are preserved that reflect life in Toledo during the time of Charles V. The castle has also become a popular location for filmmakers, serving as a backdrop for many films and TV shows, which further increases its popularity. The height of the Alcázar reaches about 40 meters, and its walls are up to 2 meters thick, making it an impressive fortress capable of withstanding a siege. The castle was the site of significant historical events, including meetings where the fates of entire nations were discussed. One of the most interesting aspects is that representatives of various cultures, including Arabs, Jews, and Christians, met in the Alcázar, making it a unique symbol of multicultural Spain. Today, the Alcázar continues to attract the attention of both tourists and researchers who want to understand its role in the history of the country. Every week, thousands of people visit the castle, highlighting its importance as a cultural and historical object. Inside the castle, original interior elements such as Gothic arches and mosaics have been preserved, allowing one to imagine what life was like at that time. The Alcázar of Toledo is not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a significant symbol of Spanish history, reflecting the complex interweaving of cultures and events. In this context, its ghostly army becomes a metaphor for the ongoing struggle for freedom and identity. Château de Chenonceau is located on the Cher River in a picturesque area of France and is considered one of the most beautiful castles in the country. Built in the 16th century, it has become a symbol of political intrigue and love stories, with one of the most famous being the romance between King Henry II and Diane de Poitiers. Diane was not only the king's favourite, but also a woman who exerted significant influence on his reign. The castle was rebuilt between 1587 and 1592 at Diane's command, which included the creation of magnificent gardens that continue to attract tourists with their beauty and design. These gardens feature more than 30 varieties of flowers, including rare sorts such as lavender and rose. Diane de Poitiers was born in 1494 into a noble family and was known for her beauty and intelligence from a young age, which caught the attention of Henry. In 1536, when Henry became king, his relationship with Diane became official. She became his favourite, and the Château de Chenonceau became their secluded meeting place. Despite being married to Catherine de Medici, Henry did not neglect Diane, and it was in Chenonceau that their secret meetings took place. After Henry's death in 1569, Diane, having lost her beloved and protector, was forced to leave the castle, which became a symbol of their love. Catherine de Medici, sensing a threat to her position in Chenonceau, took the castle from Diane and ordered it to be rebuilt, adding new elements and changing the interiors. This was not just a struggle over property, but a real power game, where the castle became a battlefield between two powerful women. Chenonceau, standing at the intersection of royal and aristocratic interests, became a place where important political events took place, including meetings and secret gatherings. The castle is famous for its original architectural solutions, including unique arched bridges that connect it to the banks of the Cher River. It was one of the first castles in France built on water, emphasizing its status and wealth. Interestingly, the castle has preserved its original interiors, including halls decorated in the style of Louis XIV with luxurious tapestries and antique furniture. In 1999, the castle was open to the public and has since attracted millions of tourists who come not only to admire its beauty, but also to learn about its history. Chenonceau has become a symbol of the French Renaissance, when art and politics intertwined, creating an atmosphere of intrigue and captivating stories. In the 21st century, the castle continues to attract attention and inspire artists, writers, and historians. Each year, exhibitions dedicated to French culture and history, as well as various cultural events, are held here. 800 years ago, Château de Chenonceau was a witness to numerous historical events, and its walls remember not only romantic stories, but also important political decisions that shaped the fate of the country. The castle stretches over more than 100 meters along the river and is surrounded by magnificent parks covering an area of about 30 hectares, where trees planted in the 16th century still grow. In Chenonceau, one can see more than 80 varieties of plants, making it one of the most diverse gardens in Europe. The castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2015, confirming its historical and cultural value to humanity. Neuschwanstein Castle, located in Bavaria, Germany, has become a symbol of romanticism and eccentricity thanks to its creator, King Ludwig II. This castle, built in the late 18th century, embodies Ludwig's dream of a medieval ideal. The castle's design was created by architect Eduard von Stein, inspired by chivalric romances and fairy tales. Ludwig II, known as the Mad King, was not only a passionate art lover but also a man whose eccentric ideas often put him at odds with reality. The construction of Neuschwanstein began in the late 18th century, and the castle was intended to be both a personal residence for the king and a place where he could retreat from public life. Architectural elements of the castle include features from Romanesque and Gothic styles, as well as Renaissance elements, making it unique in its own right. The castle was built at an altitude of approximately 900 meters above sea level and is surrounded by picturesque alpine mountains. The interior of the castle is adorned with frescoes, statues, and stained glass windows that tell stories of fairy tales and legends, including the tales of Tristan and Isolde and Wagner, whose music Ludwig II adored. He even funded Wagner's opera productions, which later became iconic for German culture. The construction of Neuschwanstein took more than 17 years, and the castle was never completed, as Ludwig II died under mysterious circumstances in 1886. His body was found in Lake Schwanzsee, and there are still many theories about what happened that night. Neuschwanstein has become not only a symbol of the king's personal tragedy, but also a tourist attraction, drawing more than 1 million visitors annually. The castle inspired the creation of Disney's castle, which appeared in the animated film Sleeping Beauty. The construction cost several million gold marks, equivalent to billions of euros today. Neuschwanstein is an example of how personal fantasies can be transformed into grand architectural projects, even if they remain unfinished. Despite his eccentricity, Ludwig II left behind a legacy that continues to inspire awe and interest. The castle was built based on strict and detailed plans designed to reflect the beauty of nature and an idealized picture of medieval society. The walls of the castle are adorned with intricate carvings and frescoes depicting scenes from German myths and legends, making Neuschwanstein a vivid example of historical romanticism. Inside the castle, there is a throne room with a ceiling height of over 30 meters, where the king dreamed of the grandeur of his reign. Neuschwanstein, beyond its artistic value, became a significant cultural center where exhibitions and cultural events were held. Despite its inaccessibility to the general public during Ludwig II's lifetime, after his death, the castle opened its doors to the public and became one of the most visited castles in the world. The stunning nature surrounding the castle, including the Alps and lakes, attracted the attention of artists and photographers, inspiring them to create numerous works of art. Every element of Neuschwanstein, from its majestic towers to its expansive gardens, was carefully planned and created with love for art and nature. The castle became a symbol not only of royal power, but also of the human dream of an ideal world, which unfortunately remained unattainable. 8 years after Ludwig II's death, Neuschwanstein was officially open to tourists, adding to its mystery and romance. Since then, the castle has continued to attract the attention of historians, architects, and tourists from around the world, serving as an example of how dreams and reality can intertwine in human history. Glamis Castle, located in Scotland, is not just a magnificent structure, but a true treasure trove of myths and legends, with the story of the Glamis monster standing out. Built in the 14th century, it became the ancestral home of the Earls of Strathearn and Kynard. Its architecture combines elements of Gothic and Renaissance styles, making it unique among Scottish castles. Inside the castle, there are ancient relics, including paintings and furniture dating back several centuries, creating an atmosphere where time seems to have stopped. The legend of the Glamis monster tells of a hideous heir who was hidden from society to preserve the family's reputation. According to the legend, he was the son of an earl born of incest and was kept in secret to avoid disgrace. One version of the story says he was imprisoned in one of the castle's dark dungeons, where he remained until his death. This tale has inspired many writers, including Wilkie Collins, who created a novel based on this legend in the 19th century. The castle is also famous for its connection to the royal family. Queen Victoria was born here and often visited it. The castle's interior, such as the Hall of Knights and the library, are filled with the spirit of history, which is palpable at every step. Glamis is also renowned for its ghosts, and many visitors claim to have seen spirits wandering the corridors. A room with windows overlooking the old garden is particularly notable, where, according to legend, one can hear the whispers of ghosts. The castle continues to be an important cultural centre, hosting various events, including theatrical performances and historical tours. In the 18th century, the castle was expanded and its architecture was enhanced with new elements that continue to amaze tourists. In the 20th century, Glamis became a popular filming location for movies and TV shows, further increasing its fame. Today, the castle opens its doors to visitors, offering tours that introduce them to its rich history and legends. Glamis is part of the National Trust for Scotland, which helps maintain it in excellent condition for future generations. Inside the castle, there are numerous artifacts, including ancient weapons and armor used in battles. The castle is also surrounded by beautiful gardens and parks that add charm to this historic site. According to legend, there is a secret passage in the castle leading to a nearby forest, which was used for the heir's escape. Glamis continues to attract the attention of researchers and historians studying its architectural features and cultural significance. In the 18th century, balls and feasts were held here, attended by the Scottish nobility from all over the country. The castle has become a symbol of Scottish history and culture, and its legends live on in people's hearts. In the 12th century, it was surrounded by protective walls that have survived to this day, giving it the appearance of an impregnable fortress. This fortress has also attracted the interest of art historians studying the influence of Scottish architecture on European castle complexes. In the 18th century, archaeological excavations were conducted here, uncovering items related to the lives and customs of people of that time. Glamis Castle is not just a historical structure, but a true treasure trove of Scottish culture that continues to inspire generations. Kilkenny Castle, located in the town of Kilkenny in southeastern Ireland, is one of the most impressive medieval castles in the country. Construction of the castle began in the 12th century, and since then it has witnessed numerous historical events. For centuries, the castle belonged to the Richardson family, and in the 16th century it came into the hands of the famous Berkeley dynasty. The castle became a significant centre of political and cultural life in Ireland, and its architecture reflects various styles, from Norman to Gothic. Kilkenny Castle gained particular fame due to its association with Alice Keitler, one of the first women in Ireland to be accused of witchcraft. In the 14th century, Alice, who had considerable wealth and influence, managed her business and had several husbands, many of whom died under mysterious circumstances. In 1323, she was accused of using magic to kill her husbands and amass their fortunes. At her trial in Kilkenny, numerous witnesses were presented, but Alice managed to avoid punishment by fleeing to England. It is noteworthy that one of the key figures in this case was the Bishop of Kilkenny, who himself showed interest in witchcraft. Legend has it that Alice Keitler could communicate with demons, particularly with a demon cat that was said to take human form. This cat became a symbol of the castle and continues to attract tourists with its mystical stories. Built on a high hill, the castle is surrounded by a moat and powerful walls that protected its inhabitants for centuries. Inside the castle, there are numerous rooms that once served as the home of aristocrats and now house a museum where visitors can see exhibits related to medieval life. In the 19th century, the castle was restored, and its interiors were decorated in the Victorian Renaissance style. Special tours tell the castle's history and the legends associated with Alice Keitler and her cat. In the 21st century, the castle has become one of the most important tourist attractions, annually drawing thousands of visitors who want to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of the Middle Ages and learn about the mysterious events that took place there. For example, in 2003, the castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, recognizing its historical and cultural significance. Interestingly, the castle hosts various events, including theatrical tours dedicated to witchcraft and the life of Alice Keitler, allowing visitors to better understand the atmosphere of that time. Despite the numerous destructions and reconstructions the castle has endured, its majestic towers and fortress walls still inspire awe and admiration. Kilkenny Castle has become not only a symbol of Irish medieval history, but also an important element of cultural heritage, preserving many secrets and legends. Each stone in its walls could tell stories of wars, intrigues, and passions that unfolded on its grounds. The castle continues to inspire artists, writers, and historians, drawing attention to the rich history of Ireland and its cultural traditions. In 2020, an exhibition on the history of witches in Ireland was held at the castle, attracting the attention of the media and researchers. Kilkenny Castle remains a vivid example of medieval architecture and preserves many mysteries related to the lives of its former inhabitants, including the enigmatic Alice Keitler and her demon cat. Windsor Castle, located in the county of Berkshire, is one of the oldest and largest residential fortresses in the world, with a rich history connected to the English monarchy. Built in the 11th century, the castle became the residence of kings, starting with William the Conqueror, who laid its foundation in 1066. The castle has undergone numerous reconstructions and expansions, particularly during the reign of King Henry VIII, who played a significant role in its transformation. Henry VIII, who ruled from 1508 to 1546, was not only a renowned monarch but also a passionate builder who changed the face of England and the castle itself. In the 1530s, Henry VIII ordered a major renovation of the castle, which included strengthening the walls and constructing new residential and service buildings. He also added luxurious interiors that reflected his status and ambitions. The castle became not only a military fortress but also a symbol of royal power, where important state events and celebrations took place. Windsor served as the site for coronations, weddings, and even the funerals of royal family members. Henry VIII used the castle as a venue for his lavish receptions, which were held in the magnificent Great Hall, featuring massive wooden beams and decorative Tudor elements. Additionally, the castle was a witness to complex political intrigues and conflicts related to Henry's personal life, including his 6 marriages, which led him to break ties with the Roman Catholic Church and establish the Church of England. Windsor also became a significant centre for storing royal relics and documents, among which were priceless manuscripts. From Henry VIII onwards, the castle became a symbol not only of royal power, but also of English identity, serving as a place where history and culture intertwined. Windsor embodies not only the architectural achievements of its time, but also the complex human stories that make it an important object of study. In 1548, following Henry VIII's death, the castle continued to be an important place for his successors, including Queen Elizabeth I, who also spent significant time there. Windsor, due to its historical events and architecture, became not only a royal residence but also a cultural heritage open to tourists. The castle was declared a national monument, and throughout its history it has become an integral part of English heritage. Today, Windsor remains an active royal residence, and its magnificent halls, such as St. George's Chapel, where Henry VIII is buried, continue to attract thousands of visitors each year, confirming its status as one of the most significant architectural objects in Britain. Windsor, with its majestic towers and historical halls, symbolizes not only the power of the monarchy but also the continuity of British history over many centuries. Château de Chambord, located in the heart of the Loire Valley region, is not just an architectural masterpiece, but an entire era that has absorbed the spirit of French history and royal hunting. Built in the 16th century at the command of King Francis I, the castle became a symbol of the Renaissance and was intended as a hunting lodge. Construction began in 1518 and continued until the 1530s, when the castle took its final form. The architecture of Chambord combines elements of Gothic and Renaissance styles, making it unique. The castle has more than 300 rooms and 87 staircases, the most famous of which is the double spiral staircase, which allows two people to ascend and descend simultaneously without meeting. This staircase was likely designed by Leonardo da Vinci, who was in France during the last years of his life. The castle is surrounded by a vast park of over 15,000 hectares, where numerous wild animals live, making it an ideal location for royal hunts. However, it is not only the hunting that attracts attention to Chambord. According to legend, the castle is home to ghosts that roam its corridors. It is said that the spirit of the Count de Chambord, who lived in the 19th century and was the last representative of the Bourbon dynasty, often appears at night. He was known for his passion for hunting and, according to rumours, continues his hunting pursuits even after death. In 1833, the Count de Chambord lost his rights to the throne, adding a sad note to his history. The castle also served as a venue for lavish hunting festivals, to which aristocrats from all over France were invited. These events included not only hunting, but also various entertainments such as balls and theatrical performances. The castle's architecture was designed to impress guests. Magnificent halls with high ceilings and luxurious decoration testify to the wealth and power of the time. 87 fireplaces in the castle served not only for heating, but also as places for meetings and discussions. Periodically, the castle became the stage for political intrigues and conspiracies, adding to its historical significance. The hunting traditions associated with Chambord continue to this day. The castle periodically hosts events dedicated to hunting, including demonstrations of shooting skills and exhibitions. In addition, the castle has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2012, confirming its cultural value and historical importance. Each year, the castle attracts more tourists who want to touch its rich history and feel the atmosphere of royal hunts. Château de Chambord is a living testament to the Renaissance era in France, where history and mythology intertwine, creating a unique atmosphere that continues to captivate the imagination. The inner courtyards and terraces of the castle offer breathtaking views of the surrounding forests and fields, where the cries of hunters and the barking of dogs once echoed. The castle has become not only a symbol of French monarchy, but also an object of deep historical research, studied by historians and archaeologists. Various researchers, such as Jean-Pierre Leblanc and Michel Leroy, have conducted extensive research on both the architectural features and the cultural significance of the castle. Today, Château de Chambord remains one of the most visited historical sites in France, attracting more than 800,000 tourists annually. The fortress of Golconda, located in the state of Telangana, India, was one of the most significant military structures in the country and served as the capital of the Golconda Sultanate from the 14th to the 17th century. The construction of the fortress began in the 13th century, when it was founded on a hill reaching a height of about 12 meters, and it quickly evolved into a powerful defensive complex with 3 main ring walls, each more than 10 kilometers long. Golconda became famous for its architecture, including magnificent gates and aqueducts that supplied water to the population. The fortress was also renowned for its signaling system, which used sound signals to warn of approaching danger. An important part of Golconda's history is the Koh-i-Noor diamond, which was discovered in local mines in the mid-17th century. This diamond, weighing 381 carats, became a symbol of power and wealth, but also a subject of a curse that, according to legend, haunted its owners. In the 17th century, Sultan Muhammad Quli Qutb Shah, ruler of Golconda, became its owner, and it was during his reign that the diamond gained worldwide recognition. However, the curse of the Koh-i-Noor began to manifest when the Sultan was killed in a conspiracy, and the diamond passed to his successors. The 18th century was a time of turmoil for the Sultanate, as it was attacked by the Marathas and the British East India Company. In 1799, the Sultanate fell, and the diamond was captured by the British. 80 years later, in 1840, it was presented to Queen Victoria, symbolizing the final fall of the Sultanate and the loss of Indian wealth. As a result, the diamond became part of the British crown and one of the most famous jewels in the world. Interestingly, the diamond has a complex history, including various owners such as Sher Shah Suri and the Nizam of Hyderabad, each adding their own legends and myths to its reputation. Modern research shows that the Koh-i-Noor has a unique structure and origin related to the diamond mines in the Gwalior region, known for their precious stones. Golconda, in turn, is not only an architectural monument but also a symbol of India's complex and turbulent history, where the fates of kings, conquerors, and ordinary people intersect. This fortress is now a popular tourist destination, attracting thousands of visitors each year who come to learn about its rich heritage and hear stories about the Koh-i-Noor curse spanning centuries. In the 18th century, the fortress was abandoned, but its magnificent walls and architectural features continue to attract the attention of historians and tourists exploring India's rich history. The fortress covers an area of about 32 square kilometers, emphasizing its strategic importance in the past. Archaeological finds in this area, including coins, ceramics, and weapons, testify to a significant population and active trade that took place here over many centuries. It is believed that the fortress structures were built using local granite, giving them a unique appearance and strength. Golconda is also known for its tombs, where sultans and their families are buried, making it not only a military but also a cultural treasure. Considering all this history, Golconda Fortress is not just an architectural monument but a repository of historical memory where each stone can tell its unique story. Olavinlinna is a medieval fortress located in the north of Finland, in the city of Savonlinna. It was built in 1475 by order of the Swedish king Erik of Pomerania to protect Swedish borders and control trade routes on Lake Saimaa. The fortress is distinguished by its characteristic architecture, which combines elements of Gothic and Renaissance styles. The walls of the fortress are up to 3 meters thick, and the height of the towers reaches around 20 meters. Olavinlinna became a significant strategic object in many wars, including the Northern War, when in 1710 it was besieged by Russian troops. The legend of Lady Olafi, the ghost of a medieval noblewoman, emerged in local tales, according to which this woman was married to a Swedish officer who died in battle. It is said that her soul did not find peace and wanders the corridors of the fortress, searching for her lost lover. Local residents claim to have seen her silhouette in the windows of the fortress, especially at twilight, when darkness envelops the walls. In 1940, during restoration work, workers reported strange sounds coming from the empty halls and felt a cold wind, despite the calm weather. This fortress has become not only a historical monument but also an object of tourist interest. Each year, more than 100,000 tourists visit Olavinlinna, coming not only for historical knowledge but also for the mystique associated with its ghosts. Tours of the fortress often include stories about Lady Olafi, attracting lovers of mystery and history. In 1992, the fortress was included in the UNESCO World Heritage List for its unique architecture and historical value. Each year, an opera festival is held in Olavinlinna, attracting performers and audiences from around the world, creating a unique atmosphere where history and modernity intertwine. The fortress also serves as a venue for various cultural events, including exhibitions and music concerts, making it a significant center of cultural life in the region. Near the fortress is also a beautiful park with ancient trees, creating a beautiful contrast with the fortress walls. Olavinlinna is not only a witness to Finland's military history, but also a unique place where legends and reality intersect. In the 18th century, significant renovations were carried out in the fortress, changing its appearance and adding new elements, such as Baroque windows and roofs. This period also brought new functions to the fortress, as it began to be used not only for military purposes but also as a residence for local aristocracy. In the 18th century, Olavinlinna became a symbol of Finnish national identity. In the mid-20th century, an exhibition dedicated to the history of the fortress was opened, featuring artifacts including ancient weapons and household items. Currently, a museum operates in the fortress, where various exhibits related to its long and eventful history can be seen. Olavinlinna serves not only as a historical monument, but also as an active participant in Finland's cultural life, providing a platform for various events and festivals. Each year, numerous events, including exhibitions, concerts, and theatrical performances, are held in the fortress, attracting tourists and local residents. Around the fortress, tourist routes are actively developing, allowing a deeper immersion in the study of its history and legends. For many visitors, the fortress becomes a symbol of romance and adventure, as well as a place where one can feel the spirit of the past. There are many records of how people visiting Olavinlinna felt the presence of Lady Olafi when they walked through its corridors and halls. This fortress, with its rich history and legends, continues to attract attention and interest from people around the world, each seeking something of their own in its walls. Mont Saint-Michel is a small island located in Normandy, France, that attracts tourists from around the world due to its extraordinary architecture and rich history. 800 years ago, in the year 1063, according to legend, the Archangel Michael appeared to the Bishop of Avranches, indicating that a church should be built on this picturesque rocky island. The result was an abbey that became a significant centre of pilgrimage in the Middle Ages. The architectural style of the abbey combines Romanesque and Gothic elements, making it unique. The height of the main tower reaches 100 meters, and it is crowned with a statue of the Archangel Michael holding a sword, symbolizing protection and victory over evil. Mont Saint-Michel became not only a spiritual place but also a symbol of resistance when, in 1330, during the 100 Years' War, its defenders successfully repelled attacks by English forces. Each year, more than 3 million tourists visit this UNESCO World Heritage Site, making it one of the most popular tourist destinations in France. An important aspect of Mont Saint-Michel is its connection to the concept of pilgrimage. Pilgrims embarking on their journey would face harsh conditions to reach the abbey, believing that prayers in the sanctuary of the Archangel Michael would help them obtain forgiveness and salvation of their souls. The abbey became a place where different paths intersected, and each pilgrim would leave a part of their soul there. This sense of spirituality was enhanced by natural phenomena. The approach of the tide when the island was temporarily surrounded by water was perceived as a special divine communication, symbolizing purification and renewal. In the Middle Ages, pilgrims believed that the Archangel Michael led souls to heaven, and this belief drew them to this place. Every morning at dawn, when the first light illuminated the towers, pilgrims would gather for the morning mass in the abbey to ask for blessing and forgiveness. The walls of the monastery preserve many stories about pilgrims who made this sanctuary their final resting place, and about those who experienced extraordinary events related to the Archangel. In the 18th century, the abbey became less significant as a place of pilgrimage when religious wars and secularization changed the spiritual landscape of France. However, its cultural heritage did not fade away, and today historians like Jean-Claude Martin study the influence of Mont Saint-Michel on medieval society and its role in shaping the identity of the French nation. On the island, there are 18 clocks that chime in unison, creating an atmosphere of timelessness, and each sound resonates in the hearts of visitors. Mont Saint-Michel also serves as a venue for various cultural events, such as music and art festivals, which attract not only local residents, but also international audiences. 80% of Mont Saint-Michel's territory is used for agricultural purposes, making it not only a tourist attraction, but also a living part of France. 83% of local residents work in the tourism and service sectors, highlighting the region's economic dependence on pilgrims and tourists. This fact underscores the importance of preserving cultural heritage and historical monuments like Mont Saint-Michel for future generations. Each evening, as the sun sets over the horizon, the island becomes even more captivating, creating a magical spectacle as the light reflects in the water and the abbey appears to float in the air. Mont Saint-Michel is not just a tourist attraction, it is a living monument to faith, culture, and history that continues to inspire people of all ages and beliefs. Bran Castle in Romania, widely known as Dracula's Castle, is located on the border between the regions of Transylvania and Wallachia. This medieval fortress was built in the 14th century, in 1336, as a defense against Ottoman invasions. The castle stands at an elevation of approximately 900 meters above sea level and serves as a strategically important point on the route from Bucharest to Brasov. Its architecture combines elements of Gothic and Renaissance styles, featuring narrow windows, thick walls, and tall towers. The castle is most famous for its association with Vlad the Impaler, who lived in the 15th century and became known as Vlad Dracula, or Vlad the Impaler, for his cruelty and methods of execution. Vlad, who ruled from 1466 to 1476, used a form of torture known as impalement, where victims were skewered on a stake and left to die. Estimates suggest he executed thousands of people, earning him a fearsome reputation. However, Bran Castle was actually more closely linked to myths and legends than to Vlad the Impaler's actual life, as he never lived there for extended periods. In the early 20th century, when Queen Maria of Romania acquired the castle, it became a symbol of romance and mystery, attracting tourists from around the world. The Queen undertook extensive renovations, adding modern amenities and decorations that made the castle more comfortable and appealing. Today, the castle is a museum exhibiting works of art and personal items of the royal family, as well as exhibits related to the Dracula myth. Over 600,000 tourists visit the castle each year to learn more about the legends associated with this historic site. Bram Stoker's famous novel Dracula, published in 1897, also played a significant role in popularizing the castle as a place connected to vampire myths. In the novel, Stoker described Count Dracula as a mysterious and charismatic figure, further fueling interest in Vlad the Impaler and Bran Castle. The castle attracts not only fans of horror, but also historians studying its architectural heritage and historical significance. For example, the castle served as a defensive fortress and a royal residence, demonstrating its multifunctional role throughout different historical periods. Inside the castle, narrow corridors, massive staircases, and mysterious rooms each hold their own stories. One such story is the legend of underground tunnels supposedly connecting the castle to other fortresses, although their existence remains unconfirmed. Bran Castle also hosts various cultural events and exhibitions exploring the heritage of vampire mythology in culture and art. For instance, an annual Halloween festival attracts thousands of people in vampire costumes, eager to immerse themselves in a mystical and eerie atmosphere. Historians emphasize that while Bran Castle is a symbol of vampire culture, it is also an important part of Romanian history. Debates continue around the castle's real connection to Vlad the Impaler. Some researchers argue that the link to Dracula is exaggerated, while others consider it justified. Ultimately, the castle remains a significant tourist attraction, drawing visitors with its historical importance and the enigmatic atmosphere shrouded in legends and myths. The castle's height is approximately 42 meters, and its area is around 2,000 square meters, making it one of the most famous and visited castles in Romania. Hunedoara Castle, located in Romania, is renowned not only for its architectural beauty, but also for its dark history, closely associated with Vlad the Impaler, more commonly known as Vlad Dracula. Built in the 14th century, the castle served as a residence for royal figures, and its architecture combines elements of Gothic and Renaissance styles. 18-sided towers, high walls, and powerful bastions create an imposing appearance that attracts tourists from around the world. The castle was constructed on the side of an old fortress that protected a major trade route passing through Transylvania. In the mid-15th century, Vlad Dracula became the ruler of Wallachia and gained a reputation as a ruthless leader, making his figure legendary. Many historians claim that his methods of governance, including brutal tortures and executions, inspired Bram Stoker to create the vampire image in his famous novel. The castle houses the famous dungeon where, according to legends, Vlad held his enemies. This dungeon, located on the lower level of the castle, is a damp, dark room with stone walls where prisoners endured horrendous suffering. It is known that in the 14th century up to 30 people could be held there at once, and the conditions were extremely harsh. Various torture instruments, such as iron chains and shackles, were found in the dungeon, confirming the rumors of cruelty that reigned within those walls. The castle also served as the site of various historical events, including sieges and battles that occurred over the centuries. For example, in the 16th century, the castle was captured by Transylvanian forces, leading to its damage, but it was later restored. Hunedoara became a symbol of Romania's struggle for independence, and its walls remember many stories of heroism and treachery. Each year, the castle attracts more than 100,000 tourists who seek to connect with the history of Vlad Dracula. Inside the castle, there are exhibitions dedicated to Vlad's life and rule, including his strange love for cruelty and vengefulness. Historians such as Radu Florescu have conducted extensive research to determine the extent to which Vlad Dracula's life is linked to the vampire myth. He asserts that Vlad's real life may have been even more terrifying than the descriptions in Stoker's novel. Hunedoara Castle was indeed a place where many people's fates intertwined, and its walls hold many secrets. The castle's internal halls are adorned with antique furniture and paintings that enhance the atmosphere of mystery. The castle's high windows offer breathtaking views of the surrounding mountains and forests, making it not only a historical but also a picturesque landmark. Vlad Dracula as a historical figure remains a subject of discussion and debate, as his image has become a symbol not only of horror but also of the struggle for power. Hunedoara Castle, one of the largest and most beautiful castles in Romania, continues to attract more and more researchers and tourists eager to learn more about its history and the myths associated with Vlad Dracula. In the 18th century, the castle was abandoned, but in the 19th century, its restoration began, and it is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Local residents also tell many legends about ghosts said to inhabit the castle, adding an element of mystique to its historical significance. Over the years, Hunedoara Castle has become not only a symbol of Transylvania, but also a cultural heritage that continues to live in people's consciousness. There are more than 100 different legends about Vlad Dracula and his connection to the castle, and each of these stories creates a unique atmosphere that draws adventurers and history enthusiasts. The castle's height reaches 45 meters, and its area is approximately 7,000 square meters. Inside the castle, one can see many artifacts, including ancient weapons and armor, which tell the story of the region's military past. Hunedoara Castle is rightfully considered one of the most significant historical and tourist attractions in Romania, reflecting both its rich history and its dark secrets that everyone should learn about. Edinburgh Castle, situated on the rock of the same name, has dominated the horizon of Scotland's capital since the 12th century. This historic monument is not only a symbol of the city but also the site of numerous significant events, including the coronation of Scottish kings. The walls of the castle hold many secrets, and one of the most famous legends is that of the bagpiper boy ghost. According to the tales, this ghost belongs to a young musician who played the bagpipes during the castle's siege in the 16th century, encouraging the defenders. The legend says that when the enemy was about to capture the fortress, the boy was killed, and his spirit remained in the castle, continuing to play to inspire the defenders to fight. Since then, many visitors and employees of the castle claim to hear the sounds of the bagpipes echoing from the dark corners and corridors, especially on rainy days. Historical research shows that such phenomena were frequently recorded in the late 19th century when the castle became a popular tourist destination. Witnesses report not only hearing the music but also seeing the silhouette of the boy, which would disappear as soon as it was noticed. During the castle's restoration in the 18th century, workers also reported strange sounds and cold air currents passing by them. It is believed that the ghost of the boy does not just wander the castle, but also guards it, as it is where the royal regalia and other important artifacts, such as the Stone of Destiny, used for the coronation of Scottish kings, are kept. This legend of the bagpiper has become a part of Scotland's cultural heritage and attracts many tourists interested in ghosts and mystical phenomena. Edinburgh Castle itself is an architectural masterpiece featuring elements from various eras, from medieval fortifications to later Baroque and Neo-Gothic additions. The castle served as a royal residence for many centuries, and its strategic location allowed it to control important routes through central Scotland. In the 10th century, one of the first royal palaces was located here, as confirmed by archaeological findings. The castle has also witnessed numerous sieges and captures, including the famous siege in 1639, when it was taken by the Covenanters. Since then, Edinburgh Castle has become a symbol of Scottish resistance and independence. The legend of the bagpiper underscores deeply rooted ideas in Scottish culture about courage, self-sacrifice, and devotion to one's homeland. Today, the castle attracts more than 1 million tourists a year, and many come with the hope of seeing, or at least hearing, the ghost of the bagpiper. Parapsychological research conducted in the castle confirms the presence of anomalous phenomena. Instruments record unexplained temperature and electromagnetic field changes. Historians like Dr. Hugh Boyd note that such legends help preserve historical memory and interest in Scottish culture. Edinburgh Castle is undoubtedly not only an architectural monument, but also a keeper of many stories that continue to live in people's minds. The ghost of the bagpiper boy, still sounding in the castle walls, has become a symbol not only of the castle, but of all Scotland, where history and mythology are so intertwined that it is often difficult to distinguish between them. Corvin Castle, located in Romania, is one of the country's most famous and colourful castles, known for its legend of crows and the curse of the Hunyadi family. Built in the 14th century, the castle served as the residence of the influential Hunyadi family, led by János Hunyadi, who was not only a military leader, but also the regent of Hungary. The castle's architecture is a complex blend of Gothic and Renaissance styles, making it unique. The external walls of the castle are adorned with massive towers and Gothic arches, creating an impression of grandeur and power. The castle is situated on a high hill, giving it strategic importance and allowing it to control the surrounding lands. According to legend, crows became the symbol of the castle after János Hunyadi, in his desire to protect his lands from Ottoman invasion, made a pact with dark forces. In exchange for protection, he agreed to a sacrifice which later led to tragic events in his family. It is said that after his death, his spirit could not leave the castle, and his soul was bound to the crows that began to inhabit the area, becoming an integral part of its history. The curse placed on the Hunyadi family also became part of local mythology. After János's death, his family faced numerous misfortunes, deaths, betrayals, and loss of influence. His son Laszlo, who inherited the title, suffered a defeat in battle against the Ottomans, which was one of the reasons for the family's decline. Over the centuries, the castle changed hands many times, and its walls held many secrets and tragedies, only enhancing its mysterious aura. The 18th century was particularly challenging for the castle, as it was partially destroyed and later restored in the Baroque style. However, the legend of the crows and the curse continued to live on. Local residents still claim that the crows flying over the castle bring omens and can predict misfortune. In the 18th century, the castle became a subject of interest not only for local residents but also for tourists who wanted to learn more about its history and mysteries. In the 20th century, the castle became a national monument and its exploration became more active. Archaeologists discovered numerous artifacts dating back to the periods when the castle was used as a fortress and a residence. 80 years ago, fragments of ceramics and weapons from the Ottoman Wars were found in the castle, confirming its strategic importance. Corvin Castle became not only a historical monument, but also a place where myths and reality intertwine, attracting researchers and tourists from around the world. Every year, thousands of people come to see its magnificent walls and learn about its dark history. Corvin Castle also serves as a venue for various cultural events, including festivals and exhibitions, which help preserve its heritage. From an architectural standpoint, the height of the main tower of the castle is 40 meters, making it stand out against the surrounding landscape. The internal rooms of the castle have retained their historical atmosphere, including halls where once the nobility and military leaders gathered to discuss strategies and the fates of entire nations. Corvin Castle is not just a tourist attraction but a living monument that preserves many stories, tragedies and legends connected to its history. Litomyshl Castle, located in southeastern Bohemia, is not only an outstanding example of Renaissance and Baroque architecture, but also a place rich in legends and myths. Built in the first half of the 16th century as a hunting castle for the Liechtenstein family, it was transformed into a magnificent palace in the 19th century. The castle and its surrounding park cover an area of over 80 hectares and include a pond, artificial islands, and various architectural elements such as a neo-Gothic tower that rises to a height of around 60 meters. One of the most famous legends associated with this place is the story of the ghost of the drowned bride. According to the legend, in the late 19th century, on her wedding day, a bride named Elizabeth, daughter of a local aristocrat, drowned in the pond when she decided to take a boat ride. Local folklore claims that her spirit still wanders through the castle and its surroundings, especially on the night of her wedding. This event has drawn the attention of both local residents and tourists eager to see the ghost. The castle's construction includes over 130 rooms, many of which, including bedrooms and reception halls, are decorated with antique furniture, paintings, and other items that emphasize its historical value. In the 20th century, Litomyshl Castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, which confirms its cultural and historical significance. Within the castle, there is also a unique library containing numerous rare books and manuscripts, including works by famous Czech writers and historians. Additionally, the park features an 18th century greenhouse where one can see various exotic plants, making this place popular among botanists and nature lovers. There is also a tradition of annual theatrical tours where actors in period costumes recreate scenes from the castle's history, including love stories, intrigues, and of course, the legend of the drowned bride. Many tourists claim to feel a cold wind and hear footsteps when passing by certain rooms, adding to the mystique of this place. Near the castle is also a wine-growing region known for its high-quality Czech wines, creating additional appeal for tourists who want to combine cultural relaxation with wine tasting. Litomyshl Castle rightfully deserves to be considered one of the most romantic places in Bohemia, and its mysterious atmosphere continues to attract numerous visitors each year. Located 80 kilometers from the capital Prague and close to other historic sites such as Valtis Castle, it is easily accessible and a popular destination for day trips. Here, one can not only immerse oneself in history, but also feel the spirit of romance and mystery that permeates its walls. There is even a special route dedicated to the history of the drowned bride's ghost, where tourists can learn about various sightings and related stories. Each year, thousands of people visit Litomyshl Castle, to not only enjoy its architectural beauty, but also to try to unravel the mystery hidden in its shadows. The Tower in London, built in 1660 by order of William the Conqueror, served as a royal residence, fortress and prison. It became famous as the site of the imprisonment and execution of many historical figures, including Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VIII. Anne was executed on May 13, 1536, when she was accused of treason, incest and witchcraft. This trial was largely politically motivated, as Henry VIII sought to marry Jane Seymour to secure an heir. Anne Boleyn, who became a symbol of tragic fate, was beheaded on a grassy knoll at the Tower, with her final words being, "I came here to die, and I am not afraid." After her death, the Tower not only maintained its reputation as a place of executions, but also became a site where her life and tragic end are remembered. Around the Tower, a legend has formed about ravens, who are called the keepers of the fortress. It is believed that if the ravens leave the Tower, the kingdom will fall. In the 18th century, King Charles II ordered that ravens be kept on the Tower grounds, and since then, at least 6 ravens have always been kept there. Each raven has its own name, and caring for these birds has become part of the official work at the Tower. The ravens serve as a reminder of the tragic events that took place there. The Tower also houses numerous artifacts, including royal regalia that have been displayed since the 13th century. 89 crowns and other symbols of power, such as sceptres and swords, represent the grandeur and passions that played out around the royal court. This place has witnessed many political intrigues and conspiracies, including the assassination of Lord Cecil and the arrests of royal figures. It is interesting to note that the Tower itself has survived numerous sieges and attacks, including the famous siege in 1496 during the Wars of the Roses. The Tower was not only a place of executions, but also a centre of justice, where trials were held against political opponents. In the 17th century, it housed one of the first prison wings, used to detain those who were displeasing. The Tower attracts millions of tourists each year, and its stories of treachery and death continue to captivate and inspire. The infamous Bloody Time, when mass executions of dissenters took place, became a key moment in English history, and the Tower remains a symbol of these dark pages. Each year in May, the Tower commemorates the execution of Anne Boleyn with special tours dedicated to her life and death. The Tower is filled with myths and stories that continue to be passed down through generations. The ravens that inhabit it have become an integral part of its appearance and even part of local folklore. According to tradition, the ravens of the Tower must remain there, and their care has become an important part of the guardianship of this historic place. There is even a special title for the person responsible for caring for the ravens, known as the Raven Master. Each raven has unique characteristics, and their behavior is closely observed. It is reported that if a raven disappears or dies, a new one is immediately brought in. The Tower, with its rich history and tragic events, continues to be an important symbol of English culture and history. Malbork Castle is the largest castle in Europe, located in Poland, built by the Teutonic Order in the 13th century. Construction began in 1230 and was completed in 1414, when the castle became the residence of the Great Master of the Order. The castle's architecture showcases the Gothic style, with its characteristic high vaults and pointed arches. Built from red brick, which was widely available in the region, its massive walls reach a thickness of up to 3 meters, making it well protected against attacks. The castle consists of 3 main parts: the upper castle, the middle castle, and the lower castle. The upper castle served as the administrative centre, housing the apartments of the Great Master and his closest advisors. The middle castle was used for housing the knights, while the lower castle was intended for the service staff and storage facilities. In 1430, the castle became the capital of the Teutonic Order, hosting important meetings and ceremonies. The Great Master was not only the head of the order, but also a significant political figure involved in state affairs. One of the most famous Great Masters was Ulrich von Jungingen, who led the order during the Battle of Grunwald in 1415, where the Teutons suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the combined forces of Poland and Lithuania. This defeat marked a turning point in the order's history and led to its decline in the region. Malbork Castle was not only a military fortress, but also a cultural centre, where architecture, art, and science flourished. Inside the castle, there were libraries containing rare manuscripts and books, as well as workshops where skilled craftsmen worked. During the study of the castle, archaeologists discovered numerous artifacts, including ceramic items, tools, and household objects, which testify to the high standard of life of the knights and their servants. In 1996, the castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, recognizing its significance as one of the most important historical monuments in Europe. Today, Malbork Castle attracts many tourists eager to learn more about its history and culture. Each year, various cultural events are held here, including nightly tournaments and festivals that recreate the atmosphere of the Middle Ages. In recent years, the castle has also become a subject of interest for historians and researchers who continue to study its architecture, history, and influence on the development of the region. The castle covers an area of approximately 20 hectares, making it one of the largest castles in the world. Its territory includes not only residential and administrative buildings, but also numerous storage facilities, churches, and even a chapel where important religious ceremonies were held. The internal courtyards of the castle are adorned with carvings and stained glass, serving as a reminder of its rich history and cultural heritage. Currently, guided tours are conducted in the castle, where visitors can learn about the life of the Teutonic Knights, their customs and rituals, as well as the political situation in Europe during the Middle Ages. Malbork Castle has become a symbol not only of Polish but also of European history, embodying the power of the Teutonic Order and its influence on the destinies of many peoples. Hohensalzburg Castle is situated on a hilltop in Salzburg, Austria, and is one of the best preserved medieval fortresses in Europe. Construction of the castle began in 1138 by order of Archbishop Conrad I. The castle served as the residence of the Salzburg archbishops for centuries, and its walls are interwoven with tales of power, love, and tragedy. There is a legend about a ghostly princess who, it is said, wanders the castle's corridors mourning her loss. This princess, according to the legend, was the daughter of one of the archbishops and fell in love with a young knight. However, their love was doomed, as the princess's father disapproved of the union. When the princess learned of her lover's death in battle, she fell into deep despair and died of a broken heart in 1194. Local residents claim that her spirit still roams the castle, and many tourists report hearing her soft weeping in the dark corridors. Hohensalzburg Castle is also renowned for its magnificent views of the city and the surrounding Alps, which can be enjoyed from its walls. Inside the castle, there are beautifully preserved halls, including the Knights' Hall, which was built in 1140 and adorned with unique frescoes. These frescoes depict scenes from the history of Salzburg and its archbishops. The castle also houses a museum with exhibits showcasing medieval life and architecture. For example, one of the halls displays ancient armor and weapons used in those times. The castle not only attracts tourists with its historical significance, but also serves as a significant cultural center, hosting various exhibitions and events dedicated to the region's history. In 1986, the castle was declared a cultural monument, ensuring its protection and preservation for future generations. The castle and its surroundings have been the subject of artistic works, including paintings and photographs inspired by its majestic walls and legends. In recent decades, Hohensalzburg Castle has become a popular tourist destination, welcoming more than 300,000 visitors annually. This place has become a symbol not only of Salzburg, but of all of Austria, drawing attention to its rich history and architectural heritage. The castle also serves as a venue for classical music concerts, underscoring its cultural significance. An interesting fact, in 1934 the castle hosted the first exhibition of modern art, making it not only a historical but also a contemporary cultural space. Surrounding the castle are picturesque gardens where you can see many plant species characteristic of the region. Among them are roses, lavender, and various herbs used in medieval medicine. Hohensalzburg Castle is not just a place where history comes to life, but also a space where myths and reality intersect, creating a unique atmosphere filled with mysteries and secrets. Neževice Castle, located in Belarus, is a remarkable example of Renaissance architecture in Eastern Europe and one of the most significant historical landmarks of the country. Built in the 16th century, the castle became the residence of the influential Radziwiłł family, which played a significant role in the political and cultural life of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. Construction of the castle began in 1521 and was completed in 1530. The building impresses with its unique combination of Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque styles, making it an architectural gem. The interior rooms, adorned with luxurious plasterwork and painting, served as the venue for important meetings and celebrations, as well as the repository of art collections assembled by the Radziwiłłs. It is worth noting that the castle became not only a symbol of power, but also a cultural centre where prominent figures of art and science of the time gathered. One of the most famous legends associated with this place is the story of Barbara Radziwiłł, also known as the Black Lady. Barbara, who married Grand Duke of Lithuania Sigismund Augustus in 1530, was known for her beauty and intelligence, but her life was filled with tragedies. Despite her marriage being a political alliance, she quickly won the love of her husband. However, after her untimely death in 1536, the castle became the site of her sorrowful spirit. The legend says that her ghost, dressed in black, wanders the castle corridors in search of her beloved. This story attracts tourists and researchers eager to learn more about her life and death. Research shows that the castle indeed experienced supernatural events, and many visitors claim to have seen Barbara's ghost. In 1991, the castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, marking an important step in its preservation and restoration. The castle is surrounded by a picturesque park, which also has historical value, and was designed in the English landscape garden style in the 18th century. The park features a pond, alleys, and rare tree species, making it a popular spot for walks. Today, Neževice Castle operates as a museum where guided tours and exhibitions dedicated to the history of the Radziwiłłs and Belarusian culture are conducted. Various cultural events, including exhibitions, concerts and festivals, are held in the castle, attracting people from different parts of the country and the world. Over the past few years, the castle has become a popular venue for wedding ceremonies, reflecting its romantic atmosphere and historical significance. Neževice Castle, which has preserved many original interior elements such as antique furniture and paintings, offers a unique opportunity to look into the past and understand how the aristocracy lived at that time. It is important to note that the entire territory of the castle was meticulously restored after the damage caused by World War II, when the castle was severely damaged. The preservation and restoration of the castle are carried out thanks to the efforts of state and private organizations, allowing it to remain an important cultural and historical center of Belarus. Today, the castle attracts not only tourists but also researchers who study its architectural features and significance in the context of European history. As a result, Neževice Castle has become not only a symbol of Belarusian national identity, but also an important object for the study of Renaissance architecture in Eastern Europe. Himeji Castle, located in Hyogo Prefecture, Japan, is one of the most famous and well-preserved castles in the country. Built in the early 17th century, its architecture is a prime example of Japanese castle style, featuring numerous wooden structures and characteristic roofs that curve upwards. The castle was designated as a national treasure of Japan and inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1993. However, the castle is renowned not only for its architecture, but also for the many legends and myths surrounding it, one of which involves a girl named Oki. According to the legend, Oki was a maidservant in the castle, working for Lord Asano, a samurai known for his harsh character. One day she was tasked with watching over 10 precious plates. One of the plates was accidentally broken, and despite Oki's attempts to explain that it was an accident, her harsh master did not believe her. In his anger, he sentenced her to death, and eventually Oki was thrown into the castle well, where she drowned. The legend says that her spirit remained in the castle, and since then, people have heard her moans and cries from the well. Every year, on certain dates, especially on Halloween, local residents and tourists gather at the castle to remember Oki and her tragic fate. The tragedy of Oki has inspired numerous works of art, including theatrical performances and films, further solidifying her place in Japanese culture. The legend of Oki has become a part of Japanese folklore, and many believe that her spirit guards the castle. The castle is also famous for its beautiful gardens and historical parks, which attract thousands of tourists. In the 18th century, many cultural events were held here, and it is believed that it was during this time that the castle became a symbol of Japanese architecture. In the 19th century, the castle suffered several destructive attacks, including bombings during World War II, but it was preserved thanks to the efforts of local residents and government organizations. Restoration work began in 1963 and was completed in 1989, allowing the castle to reopen its doors to visitors. The Himeji Castle attracts not only historians and architecture enthusiasts, but also researchers of mythology who study the legends associated with it. The walls of the castle hold many secrets, and each stone can tell a story. Oki has become a symbol of suffering and justice, and her story serves as a reminder of how easily one can become a victim of injustice. Therefore, the Himeji Castle is not only an architectural marvel, but also a place where the past lives in legends. The castle has also been the filming location for many famous movies, including The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, which was released in 2003. This film brought additional attention to the castle and its history. Photographs of the castle with its white walls and graceful roofs have become a symbol of Japan, and its famous white heron reminds us of the ancient art of Japanese architecture. The Himeji Castle remains a subject of study, and its history, including the tragedy of Oki, continues to captivate people's minds. In 2020, the castle underwent restoration to preserve it for future generations. The height of the main tower is approximately 50 meters, and the area of the castle complex exceeds 15 hectares.